as Dory mentioned earlier, is the pictures that go across the screen at the top of the home page. So we're going to share my screen again here. And it says I'm screen sharing. You can see my screen, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we need to go to the home page to work on the slider revolution. We were calling it the revolution slider until I was trying to type up this document and I went, oh, it says right here that it's called the slider revolution. And now we're going to go back up to the dashboard, or you could go back to the dashboard if you want, or you can go straight to edit page because the slider revolution is on the home page. So we'll do edit page from the top. My computer's slow, please forgive it. And then this menu over on the left-hand side where we found the media library before, now we're going to slide down to the slider revolution. And it brings up this other little menu to the right and choose slider revolution again. And then you get, we only use one slider in all our website, and that is our home slider. So we need to click on, we want to edit it. So we go to the little pencil in the corner. When you bring the cursor up, that becomes obvious and you can go there. Sorry, I have workers in my room that I didn't know were going to be here. And it kind of threw me off my game a second. So what I want to show you is how to add a new slide. And I also want to show you how to format that slide and to move the slide and so forth. And delete a slide. I have one slide on here that I think I will just show you the delete right off the bat. And that is, I put this picture in earlier today and realized that there's one YBAC member in there and the rest of them aren't really members of our organization. So I'm going to go ahead and take that slide off. And that's this slide number 14. So I go to bring up the edit box, and you see at the bottom it says delete, and that's all it takes is delete, and then it asks you, is this okay? And I say, okay. Takes a minute to think, and then now that slide is gone. I've already added a slide. I want to add a slide for Operational Owner Hearing Aid. I noticed, I believe all the other philanthropies are represented, Book Buddies, Sandy Bears, Assistines is here, Dance Program, Twain, but we don't have anything to represent Operational Owner Hearing Aid. So I have added a picture already to the media library, and so now I'm going to add a slide. Coming down to the plus sign here, I'll say add blank slide. And it shows me this little grid thing, which evidently, because when I put this in earlier, you see the grid here, but on the actual revolution slider, that does not show as a grid. It just shows as white. So you don't need to worry too much about that. If you happen to do what I did on that, that's something different. Okay, so I'm gonna, now what I want to do is come down, and I should have that grid down here. I do. That's what I'm working on. And where it says main background, here below where all the slides are, your thumbnails up above, I'm going to click on main background image. because what I want to work on is the image. And that right away brings up the media library. I can go right there, select the picture that I already uploaded, which is this one of this little boy wearing his hearing aid. And over on the right-hand side, it shows me the information about the slide, and I say insert. No, we're not done yet. I need to go to, see here it says source, and now I want the source settings. And you have all these things you can deal with. I suggest you deal with the image source size, the background fit, and the background position. The others, if you want to take time to Google what importance they have, you're welcome to do that. But if you start with these three things, I think you'll be fine. Instead of original size, I'm going to say large. I find that that seems to work the best. Then for the background fit, I believe I'm going to leave it on cover. Is that what I've said here? Large cover, cover's good, and center seems to work the best most of the time. So I've got those three things verified here, and now I want to save the slide. How do I do that? Scroll all the way back up, and this little green icon looks like an old floppy disk. That comes up and says save slide. I click on that, and that is all. We don't have to do as many update and all the other things you do when you're adding a picture. Now I want to go and see how it's going to look on the actual page. So I'll go back up to Assistance League Greater San Diego, visit site, and now my new slide should be in there. And notice it was in the last position. And so actually there are all these dots across here that are for the different slides in the show. If I click on this very last one, I can see what I've got in last position. And there it is, my little boy with his hearing aid looking in the mirror. Very precious child. And I'm going to go back to the Revolution slider on the dashboard now, just because I want to show you how to reposition slides if you need to. It's very simple. Back down to Slider Revolution, out to the right, Slider Revolution. Again, I'm working on the home slider, so I do the edit for that to bring up all the slides. And say I wanted his picture to be in between these two up here, the reopening and the San Diego's Favorite Thrift Shop. All I have to do is click on him and drag him up into position. Please wait a moment. And now slide number 15 is actually going to be slide number 3 in the show. And that's how simple it is to change the position. You'll notice that on this slide, number 2, you can't really tell down here because it doesn't show the same. That's what tripped us up, Dory, the day that you and I were trying to work on the Revolution slider together, is that it's not the same down here as it's going to be on the big screen. I mean, on the homepage screen. So we can't go by this. So I need to go back to visit the site. And now I've put it in third position. Let's check third position and see if it's there. And it is. I was going to point out the difference between the number 2 slide. The number 2 slide is reopening July 9th, Thursday to Friday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but it doesn't have the bottom of the slide. So we're going to try something. This is brave of me because I didn't try this out ahead of time. We're going to go back to the dashboard and down to slider revolution, edit our home slider gallery. And I have this slide is repeated here and here, but on these two, the whole slide shows, but with white borders on either side. I'm wondering what it'll do if, that's the only way I could get it to show the bottom, the hours. But what happens if I decide I want to edit this slide? Nope, still not going down there. Let's try clicking on it twice, see if we get it down there. Okay, never mind. We didn't need to see that. You didn't need to see my trial and error. You only need to see, oh, here it is. Okay, see, on the front, on the main screen, it showed this was white on each side. And I've got in the source settings here, I have it as contain, like I told you, but I have it center bottom. It was the fine position. What happens? Well, it's not gonna, what was I gonna change then? Oh, instead of contain, to change it to cover and have center bottom, and let's see what that does. We'll save the slide. It may not have worked, but we're gonna, so this is what you have to do when you are the editor. You have to play around sometimes to get it to look like you want it to. So now we're gonna visit the site again and see what happened to our slide. Now I don't remember which one it was. It was somewhere over here.
Was he 3?
Okay, now it doesn't have the dates so clear, but it's at the bottom so we can see the hours. So I could possibly move that back next to it so you see on one and then the next one coming up shows the hours. Well, you know, you decide what you want to do because you can't get it, for some reason you can't get the whole thing. It's not proportioned quite the same as what the slider revolution itself is. So we can worry about that later. I'm going to stop my share and give it back to you, Dory.
She said Em was